And now I invite Ms. Navjeet ma'am for a brief introduction about sir.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon to all of you. Today's valedictory chief guest, Professor Dr. Ashish Baldi sir, respected director sir, organizing team Dr. Monica Gupta ma'am, Dr. Richa Gupta ma'am, COP faculty and all the participants, a very warm welcome to all of you for the 6-day session of short-term training program for phase 3 sponsored by AICTE. It's both an honor and a privilege to introduce our today's resource person, Dr. Ashish Baldi sir. Dr. Ashish Baldi sir, alumni of Sagar University and Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, is presently working as Professor, Department of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Technology, Maharaja Ranjit Singh Punjab Technical University, Bathinda, Punjab. Along with the additional responsibility of Dean Faculty of Pharmacy, he also served as Registrar, Maharaja Ranjit Singh Punjab Technical University, founded Head of Department and Principal, ISF College of Pharmacy, Moga, Punjab. Recently, he had received highest acclaim of featuring among top 2% scientists across the world in the field of pharmacy and pharmacology for the year 2019 by Stanford University, USA. With over 17 years of experience, 3 patents, 2 design applications, 8 books, 4 special issues, over 120 national and international publications, 14 book chapters, 35 invited lectures, several popular articles, more than 160 papers at conferences, seminars in India and abroad, and several best paper awards to his credit. He is an active researcher in various facets of pharmaceutical sciences and biotechnology. Presently, he is supervising 6 research projects granted by various government agencies like Ministry of Ayush, DST, ICSSR, ICMR, FITM, etc., worth about 1.25 crores. He had completed 13 major and minor research projects and transferred 2 technologies to leading pharmaceutical industries. He had featured in Who's Who of the World as one of the most outstanding scientists across the world in 2011 edition and Best 200 Scientific Intellectuals of the World by Cambridge Society, UK. He had also honored with Shiksha Bharati Award in 2010 for his excellent contribution in the field of education. He has also supervised 9 PhD projects, 30 MPharm project students, 10 undergraduate students in various fields of pharmaceutical sciences and biotechnology. Presently, Sir is also fellow life member of more than 10 scientific societies worldwide, including fellow of world's oldest scientific society, the Lennon Society, London. He is also serving as Vice President of Association of Pharmacy Teachers of India, Punjab State Branch, and as Advisory Editorial Board member in more than 20 journals of high impact. More than any other achievement, he proudly cherished being a teacher to young minds and loved to interact with them. For that note, I would like to request Professor Dr. Ashish Baldi sir, kindly share your knowledge, experience, expertise, wisdom with all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Navjeet Kaur ma'am. It's really a homecoming for me back to Bella College of Pharmacy, and along with Dr. Shailesh as a mentor over there. But I am very happy to see that the baton has passed to young faculty members, Dr. Richa Gupta, Dr. Monica, and Navjeet Kaur Saini ma'am. So I appreciate this wonderful hand holding and culture at COP Bella. This particular event, yes, computer-aided drug design. I think the most important aspects on computer-aided technologies in India as well as in global level in pharmaceutical sciences has been focused on drug discovery part. But in today's lecture, we will particularly talk about a particular aspect of computational methods, and that is artificial intelligence. So I would like to confirm just that whether my slides are visible or not.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
It is visible to all.
Yes.
So dear friends, as we all know, we are in the COVID era, so this confirmation is very much needed. But I am happy on the other side that experts from various fields, various places can come together and share their knowledge. If we talk about challenges, challenges means a way of opportunity. And I must say that before COVID era, we had never thought of STTPs online or classes online, and these kind of practices although existed, but we never adopted such kind of practices. But right now, situations led us to these kind of technology driven education, technology driven training of teachers, and we have landed up in Zoom or Google Meet or any other aspects. So this means that if you have something in your mind as a question, you can find a solution in a technological or scientific terms. And that's where this term artificial intelligence comes into picture. Now, when we talk about artificial intelligence, let me tell you, and you just have to mark my words, that last 25 years was artificial physics. That means all the machines has taken the human physique or human hard work, and all this human hard work is assisted now by machines, by latest technologies, and most of the human work is replaced by uh, artificial physique, or I can say artificial machines and technologies. And next 25 years will be replacement of human brain with artificial intelligence. Now, why I am telling this is that in the last 5 years, we have grown largely in terms of scientific aspects, in terms of technological aspects, in terms of deep learning, machine learning, and then converting human knowledge into an artificial intelligence. So this seems a very top topic for STTP, although it does not cover the drug delivery aspect or drug discovery aspect. But one of the fascinating aspect is quality evaluation of herbal drugs, and that to be addressed by artificial intelligence. Why this is needed? Because herbal drugs, as we all know, we are very rich. Our Ayurveda and earlier resources were very rich in herbal drugs. But the basic problem we face is identification of pure herbal drugs and their quality characterization, and therefore still the knowledge of identifying a particular herbal drugs is there on the textbooks only. Practically, we are not much aware, and I am afraid to say that in comparison to our pharmacognosist, botany people are much more aware about the identification of herbal drugs, about the evaluation, about the adulteration identification, all these aspects. So when we talk about herbal drugs, one thing which comes in our mind is that how can we identify herbal drugs? And secondly, how can we identify the adulteration in herbal drugs? And that too using artificial intelligence. So that is the topic I will deal with in today's lecture, that is artificial intelligence for quality evaluation of herbal drugs, computational perspectives and prospects. I have not taken this into deep scientific aspects of deep learning and machine learning, but I will present you in a very interesting manner so that you can understand that how basic concepts of science and technology can be extrapolated to latest science and discoveries. So on behalf of my own university, I welcome all participants. with a wish that you sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu ma kashchit dukbhag bhavet. We are in the phase of corona, so I request all the participants and their families to stay safe. Most importantly, stay self-disciplined and keep learning even in this era of isolation. So I appreciate the efforts of Dr. Shailesh and his team for organizing the phase 3 of this STTP on computer-aided drug design, a customized and innovative solution to greatest challenges in chemistry. So on behalf of my own department, that is Department of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Technology, I welcome all participants. As I am discussing that what is artificial intelligence. So in simpler words, it is the capacity given by humans, and that is very important. We are giving this capacity to machines to memorize and learn from our experience, to think and create, to speak, to judge and make decisions. And that is very important, that we are giving our brain, in simpler words, our own creative thinking, which we generally do as a human being, as our brain does. We are training machines to do all such activities, and that is what is called as artificial intelligence. Now, one is acquired intelligence, that we as a human being learn and then acquire and turn it to cognitive knowledge or intelligence. And then this is the second level of intelligence, that is artificial intelligence, which is not native, which is not inherent in a machine, but you train according to your own human experiences, your own thinking, and you train the machines in such a way that they can take intelligent decisions based on the training which you have given. And that is what is artificial intelligence. But before going to this will be the future of artificial intelligence, that in place of people like us, there might be a day when a robot or artificially intelligence based trained robotics will replace teaching also. Dear friends, it is a possibility. Yes, it is a big possibility. But when we think upon the artificial intelligence and human intelligence, there are certain differences, and there are very notable differences among these two. Artificial intelligence is created by human intelligence, but human intelligence, on the other hand, is created by divine intelligence. But the beauty about artificial intelligence, that it is highly objective, and human intelligence takes care of all presumptions, assumptions, and our own experiences, as well as thinking. Emotional quotient, I must say, very important. That all has been taken care by human intelligence, but artificial intelligence does not relate with all these emotional quotients. They are more subjective, objective than the human intelligence. They take the decision based on what training you are giving, and that's all. They will not think in what situation this decision has to be taken. They will not think what conditions the people are there, or they will not think what should be the ideal way to understand holistically the problem. But yes, on the basis of objective and subjective knowledge which you train upon the machine, they can give their own decision. So the major differences are that human brain can easily adopt the changes, but artificial intelligence cannot adopt to changes well unless and until you train them. They have a very below average social skills, because they are not trained for social acquaintance. They are trained basically for technical aspects, and human is a social animal, we all know. So we have an excellent social skill, we have self awareness, and we are more innovation driven rather than optimization driven. So these are the basic differences between artificial intelligence. But one problem which we all persist is, all humans are different in terms of level of knowledges. I may be very good at particular aspect of science, a particular aspect of technology, but I am not that good in all aspects of science and technology. Somebody else will be good in second aspect or another aspect. And that is where our limitation comes into existence, that we are good at one particular thing. And most of the time, as Ayurveda is there, the failure of Ayurveda, I must say, is because that the knowledge of Ayurveda or traditional drug was not transferred to the next generation. And this happens to so many things. So then we have to rely on artificial intelligence. And how we can do this? Artificial intelligence are based on predictive analytics, machine learning, deep learning. We can convert text to speech and speech to text. We are very much familiar with now Siri and Google Map. They can convert speech into text and text to speech. There are so many options are available in computer, laptops, and all this. We can have image recognition based on machine vision. That means Facebook, we are seeing Facebook tags. Once your photograph is uploaded on Facebook, it immediately tags that this is the photograph of Navjeet ma'am or Dr. Monica or Dr. Shailesh. So how it can be done? It can be done through image recognition and a machine vision treatment based on artificial intelligence. And you can see the preciseness. And that is why this artificial intelligence is taking into a new aspect as far as drug discovery and other health care uh, proportions are concerned. Then one is language processing. We can easily extract the data, translate into another language based on artificial intelligence. We can develop expert systems based on the need. We can optimize various operations, and we can use robotics based on training given by artificial intelligence. So this is the latest report that in 2042 there might be an artificial god available through artificial intelligence. And literally this is a very fascinating aspect as well as fearsome also. Why I am saying fearsome? Because if we go in this manner, if we can train machines like human brains, someday or the other, there is a fear that machine can take part or replace ourselves. And on the other hand, if we use them wisely, they can be a very great help to all of us. So, dear friends, in the word of Elon Musk, we need to regulate artificial intelligence before it becomes a danger to humanity. So that means every discovery has its own curse and boon. We have to use a particular science, use a particular technology, and use a particular discovery for the benefit of mankind, and then only we can serve the humanity in scientific manner. So this thing comes with the package of artificial intelligence, and therefore the role of humans in using this artificial intelligence comes into picture. As far as our proud healthcare industry is concerned, recently artificial intelligence is used in early detection of ailments. Uh, we can improve decision making about the disease based on your own symptoms, your biochemical parameters. There are certain apps, mobile devices, and even you can say your wearables where you can have a smart watch which can monitor your disease, your physical parameters like blood pressure and all this. It can help in treatment based on the feedback given to the artificial intelligence based devices. It can expand the access to medical services. For example, we can feed the data of all the hospitals in one app, and it can disseminate the information to all. Associate care, if nurses, hospitals, doctors cannot reach the rural background can reach the hospitals and nurses through artificial intelligence based devices. This is very much hot in recent area of healthcare. It is also to check health through wearables, and also for the patients who are on end of life, need to take care. So robotics are there and coming into the picture. This is what is coming up in next 20 years in healthcare. So if we talk about artificial intelligence in healthcare, it is very important in patient care. As it can give real-time case prioritization, which case is important to take first, and then patient data analytics based on in many of the European countries, we are having this patient data available throughout the country. So one can assess all this data, and one can obviously give personalized medication and care to all such patient. And this is the future of patient care based on artificial intelligence. As far as research and development is concerned, drug discovery, basically high throughput screening, gene analytics and editing, and device and drug comparative effectiveness assessment are nowadays taken up by artificial intelligence in a very interesting manner. Then medical imaging and diagnostic. Artificial intelligence can predict based on their medical imaging, X-ray, CT scan, and all such imaging. You can upload into a particular artificial intelligence-based device, and they can give you early diagnosis of what has been happening in terms of breast cancer, in terms of COVID even, and in terms of all other diseases which can be diagnosed through imaging. And then marketing and management aspect is also there. Brand management, people's interest, market research, all this area has been taken care. As you can see that if you visit Facebook and then you visit something on Google and search something, automatically you will see that in Facebook you will get relevant advertisement. Now that is what is your market research, and that market research is basically artificial intelligence based driven. So you are not feeling the presence of artificial intelligence, but artificial intelligence is in everybody's life now. So my dear friends, if you can think out of box, you can think differently, I think you can add a new vista to artificial intelligence. And what is the ABCD of this particular innovative thinking is, you have to aim, you have to believe on your own ability, you have to concentrate on what you have and how you can use it. You have to be determined with your efforts. And if you put it this ABCD in your life, I think you will get something very innovative and very interesting for the health of mankind. And by keeping this in view, we have come up with a very novel solution. I must take the pride that this kind of device is nowhere developing in any of the country of the world which we are thinking. And this is a mobile app based artificial intelligence powered device, QCheck, quality check of herbal entity using computational knowledge. So we are developing this particular technology with the help of our Government of India partners, that is DST and Ministry of Ayush. These are some of the projects we are running on artificial intelligence based identification and evaluation of herbal drugs. And as we all know that herbal drugs, we are talking so much that yes, herbal drugs, about 80% of the drugs are herbal origin. Herbal drugs are dietary supplements, even in flavoring food, medicine, and perfume we are using. But the biggest concern is what quality of herbal and whether we can identify the adulteration in herbal drug. Let me take you to an example that you go in market and you buy Kali Mirch pepper. Whether you will be able to identify whether it is adulterated or not. Still, we are using it so many years, then also we cannot identify the adulteration in spices even. So then it goes to industry, and you will be very surprised to know that Ashoka bark, we all know that Ashoka bark is so much useful in pharmaceutical formulations. Ashoka rest and so many other formulations are there. And when we went across the production of Ashoka bark, we were surprised that about 80 to 85% of Ashoka bark is adulterated. Now, can you imagine that Ashoka bark, which is industrially used for pharmaceutical preparation, Ayurvedic preparations, their annual consumption is more in comparison to total availability of Ashoka bark by 4 folds. So that means 80% of this particular drug is adulterated. This is one of the example I am giving. You can relate it with anything and you will find that adulteration is a bigger problem. And that's why we are working on two aspects. One is spices and the other one is herbal drugs. So my dear friends, let us go to the basics. For identification of herbal drugs, we use morphological characterization, physicochemical characterization, chemical and chromatographic fingerprintings, computational techniques, and molecular authentication. That we all know. So I will just brief of you with the morphological characterization. We see color, shape, texture, size, texture, external surface, marking, length to width ratio, odor and taste. All this we generally do in morphological characterization. Now I am giving you a food for thought. You are identifying a particular thing by color. You are identifying a particular thing by shape. You are identifying a particular thing by texture. What if I train my machine to do this on my behalf? What if I train my machine to identify that, okay, if it is greenish in color, it may be fennel. If it is brownish in color, it may be jeera. I can give this knowledge to machine. And if I can give this knowledge and train them precisely and validate it, that is basically artificial intelligence. For example, microscopic characterization we perform in herbal drugs. We all do such kind of experiments in even B form pharmacognosy. That powdered form we use to see calcium oxalate crystals, Koch cells, stone cells, vascular tissues, and so on. And in TS and LS, we see other parameters like stomata, trichomes, uh, vascular tissues, even parenchymal cells, and all these parameters we see. What if two form of drugs are different in certain parameters? Just think, can we train these machines to identify these parameters and differentiate on the basis of this? Answer is yes, and we will see how practically it can be done. Secondly, we qualitatively and quantitatively analyze the drugs, herbal drugs, that is based on all these chemical ingredient and parameters that we all know. So we will not talk about this. Now the question arises, can we train machine to behave like human? Yes, and the area is artificial intelligence. So this is the use of a computer to model intelligent behavior with minimal human intervention. That means we are giving capability to machines and computer programs to solve a particular complex problem and make decision like human brain does. And that is based on pattern recognition, visual perception, and decision making. Pattern recognition, in a way, I can say, if I close your eyes and give one mango and one orange, how you will recognize this? Because of the shape, because of the pattern. So that means there is a different pattern, unique pattern. And on that basis, I can identify easily. So if you can close your eyes, you are perceiving that thing on the basis of pattern. Then if you open your eyes, it will be a visual perception. So that means initially you thought that this is mango and this is orange. Then you saw it, yes, it is a mango, and yes, it is an orange, and that leads to your decision making. And that way, if you can train machines for this, if you can develop specific algorithms and programs, you can easily train machines even to take certain decisions. So this artificial intelligence involves three things. Artificial intelligence, that means computer system that perform the task which usually performed by human brain. Machine learning is statistically training a particular series of inputs and outputs, that if it is the input, this will be the output. If it is the picture, this may be the mango. If this is the picture, this may be the orange, and so on. So, and then deep learning, that means the programming, the algorithm, which mimic human intelligence based on self-learning. So on the basis of artificial intelligence, we increase accuracy, we perform high-level computation as we do in brain, and then we take certain decisions. That means the machine takes certain decision to solve complex problem, and that is the beauty of artificial intelligence. So as far as this pragmatic case study is concerned, can you imagine that a particular mobile app will be there where you will take a sample of herbal drugs and you upload that particular sample of herbal picture of herbal drug, that is query image, to our mobile app, and our mobile app will pre-process the image and make a decision whether this is this particular herbal drug or not, and then whether it is this much adulterated or not. And that decision making can be given with the help of a simple mobile app which is based on artificial intelligence, and that is what we are doing at our lab as far as this artificial intelligence is concerned. So why computational approach? Because it has increased accuracy and increased productivity. Why I am saying this? It is more accurate because human brain, if it is good, if you are expert in something, you can assess something. But then there are certain people that they are not expert in those things, so they cannot assess. So less accuracy. This can be altered in human ways. It is very economic, and then saving of time is there. You are anywhere in the market and you just click a picture and upload it, you can have the results, and therefore computational techniques in herbals can be used. And that is what we thought of. Here you are seeing an image of bindi in the field, and after processing of that particular image of bindi will appear like this. So all these interventions or interference of background has been removed by using suitable classifiers. Now, as I told Ashoka bark, I am taking one example to let you understand. We are working on around 56 herbal drugs. I'm taking just one example. This is very much used in Ayurvedic and herbal preparations, and very widely used as far as its annual consumption is concerned in India. It is around 2,000 metric ton, and annual trade is around also 2,000 metric ton. And you will be very much surprised that it is 80% or more adulterated. So this is Sirocco Ashoka, and this is the second one, adulteration by Polyalthia longifolia. Or iski limit, what I can say, in everybody of us, there are, I visited Bella College of Pharmacy, there are so many Ashoka plants there in the entrance. We usually say them Ashoka, but they are not Ashoka, they are false Ashoka, which is a genus and a species Polyalthia longifolia. While the Ashoka, which is commercially used in Ayurvedic preparation, is Saraka Ashoka. And that is where our own thinking makes it adulterate, and we are very easy with this. So what we had done is, we had compared both these in terms of unique features. That how Saraka Ashoka in terms of particular behavior, particular parameter or characters, what are the observations, and then what are the observations about Polyalthia, the false Ashoka. And then what we found is certain distinguished features. Like on the one hand, it is Saraka Ashoka, other hand, it is Polyalthia. You can see the color difference, you can see the texture difference, and then there are so many other. On the outer surface, there are lenticels, there are ventricles, there are cracks being less prominent on one, cracks being more prominent on one, grayish brown in color, the Polyalthia, while it is dark brown in color with warty surfaces. And there are so many other unique features which we identified that these are there only in Saraca Ashoka and not in Polyelthia. And therefore, we had identified initially all these pharmacognostic parameters. And then what we done is we had experimentally developed a image collection setup where what we do is we have taken a large number of pictures, say 10,000 per species. We then used to go for pre-processing based on noise removal, conditioning, cropping. The quality of the image should be uniform. So all this has been done. Then we had done layer analysis based on weight decay and momentum, that how color differentiate, how this pattern differentiate. And then we used to get machines learned. We used to get algorithm developed for this particular thing. We had to fine tune all these images which we have taken, and we can go for accuracy, precision, and validation. And then we have identified this pattern recognition based on unique features. We compare it with standards, and then our machine is taking decision on behalf of what training we have given to the machine, to the algorithm, to the computer program. And that is where you can think that if we certainly apply the aspects of computational science, we can easily make decisions. And what we had done, we had created image database that is around 10 to 20,000 for per species. And then we trained that particular system. And for common people, what we have done is we have developed a Google form also. Based on these 10 questions, if you have certain thing in your hand, you can identify that what is Polyelthia and what is Saraca Ashoka. So that is for the application of science and technology to a common people. Because science-based, innovations should not be limited to industries, should not be limited to only higher-end people. I must say that your innovation should reach to a common man in rural background. He can easily understand that how, by what way I can differentiate into Saraca Ashoka or something else. And we created image database. We are in mobile app development. What we are doing is we are developing a mobile app and an interactive platform where any one of you can easily place a picture, and it will give you a result whether it is pure and which form of spice of drug is there, and whether it is adulterated. If it is adulterated, how much is the possibility it is adulterated. And that can give you an hands-on decision on quality of herbal drugs. So this is what we are doing at our lab. This is the overview of our mobile app and the framework. We have a camera and microscope for digital imaging. So you can have it from your mobile camera also. We have created images of reference spices, herbal drugs, its varieties and adulterants. Then we have developed a cloud-based server in order to get image recognition and retrieval run. And then we have integrated it with our mobile app. And right now we are in validation phase. We are developing the validation part, whether how much accurate and precise our training is. And then on the other hand, if you take a picture of say coriander or fennel or ashoka bark or anything else and upload it on website, it will go back to the cloud-based server. It will process on the base of our training, and it will give result. And that is what is our QCheck mobile app application is concerned. Along with it, what we are integrating is we are integrating the chemical profiling of all these herbal drugs, and we are also giving the GPS locations of testing labs nearby you. So depending on your own location, we can give you the location of nearest testing lab and their addresses and all the details, so that you can contact if you are a farmer, if you are a middle buyer, or if you are an industry specialist. You can get certification based on physicochemical parameters based on physicochemical standardization and quantitative evaluation of your active constituent, and that can be integrated with our software. So that is what we have developed, and we are providing training to students, professionals, local suppliers and shop owners, farmers and housewives even. And after successful validation, we will transfer it to Government of India to integrate it with the eCharak app of the Government of India, where they can integrate this with the uh, auction and trade of herbal drugs is taking place through a particular app called eCharak. So there they can integrate with the quality check. Immediately you can check the quality of the sample and you can identify that, okay, this might be the quality of the sample, and then we can have it on the basis of this. So, dear friends, this is one of the fascinating aspects of our artificial intelligence, and I must say that I try to get it in terms of very simplified manner as much as possible for me to make you understand the scientific aspects of this artificial intelligence in herbal drugs. Now, herbal drugs quality characterization is not the only aspect where artificial intelligence can be dealt with. Yes, there are so many other aspects also, and these aspects are herbs and soil health monitoring. Now, on the basis of artificial intelligence based devices, you can easily identify that what disease a particular herb or plant can have. Apart from identification and quality characterization, you can identify a disease. For example, a particular plant is, diseased with black moth. To take a picture of that particular area where this infection has been done, and you upload on the device, and this there are certain devices and mobile apps available where you can have this particular type of applications based on artificial intelligence, where it can suggest you that this might be the disease, and this might be uh, the the particular solution to treat this disease, what is going on in your field, what is going on in your crop or medicinal herb. Along with it, you can have soil health monitoring based on artificial intelligence by setting up different parameters. That is also possible. Compound screening and optimization, there are certain artificial intelligence based platform for screening and optimization of novel drug molecules based on herbals also, as well as synthetic drugs. So that is also feasible and nowadays taking place in terms of herbal drugs. We can increase the efficacy of herbal farming. Yes, in herbal farming, as you all know, that the quantity of the active constituent in herbal drugs are very important, and that is based on what is the age of crop, what is the time of your fertilizer addition, what is the total harvest time, what is the season, what is the total harvest period which you are considering. So all this has to be effectively monitored if you are going for industrial scale quality production of herbal drugs. And nowadays, if you go and watch something on YouTube, you will find that there are artificial intelligence based irrigation system. That means when you need to irrigate your crop, when you need to irrigate your medicinal crop, that also has been programmed in such a manner that depending on soil humidity, it will give you an interpretation that, okay, now this is the time to switch on the irrigation part. Secondly, based on the probes which we have for fertilizers like carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, we have certain probes. You can insert those probes in various locations in the field, and that can give you an idea that what particular micronutrient your crop is lacking. And when you talk about what is lacking, you can easily provide that fertilizer, that particular micronutrient to your crop, and that will lead to a better growth, and also will lead to a lesser pollution by these kind of contaminants as far as higher use of fertilizers are concerned. So by this kind of approaches, we can increase the efficacy of herbal farming also. And then, as I discussed, one of the very fascinating aspect is identification of herbal drugs and also identification of possible adulterants. So all this we can do with the application of artificial intelligence in herbal drugs. We have very uniquely started on Indian system of herbals, and we are doing it on around 56 herbal drugs. And what are the other future aspects as far as artificial intelligence is concerned are disease detection, as I discussed, that you can detect a particular disease. For regulatory agencies also, it is very important because what quality crop is there, you can easily identify, say for opium cultivation, say for any other very high value medicinal plant is concerned, that you can easily identify based on a picture you can upload based on the sample, and you can identify that okay, the quality is there or not. You can check adulteration, as I discussed in detail with the example of Sarakashuka. Then you can have an interactive platform for all stakeholders. Now in medicinal plant, this cultivation as well as market, there are certain stakeholders like farmers, middle buyers or agents, then the mandi people, then the government organizations and regulatory agencies, and then comes the industries. So all this can be linked through this particular mobile-based platform, so that all can register in various capacities and they can use it. If you are a farmer or if you are a middleman, middle buyer, you can upload that this much quantity of drug is available with me and of this particular quality. And if as an industry I need this thing, I can directly contact you based on the contact information giving in this particular app. So we are developing towards that also. So this will lead to a better e-trade platform. And then you can have plant growth analysis also. There are certain systems available in our lab also, and in Israel and so many other advanced countries, that they can put a monitor on every plant. Like, for example, they can put a monitor, sensor based monitor, that can take picture and that can monitor that in how much time, what is the growth in the plant, how it is developing, whether any disease is there or not. And all this real time data can be captured and it can be transferred to artificial intelligence server, and it can immediately predict you and give you result on your mobile, that what kind of growth is taking place, whether it is hindered by something or whether it is okay, and whether any disease is there or not. So you can immediately take a precautionary measurements and preventive measurements, and you can get a better crop as far as artificial intelligence based cultivation or agriculture is concerned. So this is one of the area which is coming up in the artificial intelligence. And I must say that, dear friends, future belongs to artificial intelligence, and the pharma people can effectively contribute it in terms of herbal drugs, in terms of even you are seeing nowadays there are apps where you can talk to doctors directly. You can, in COVID times it has been grown. And then there are terms, there are mobile applications which are developing, that you upload a ECG over there, you upload a X-ray over there, you upload a CT scan over there, and it will give you an predicted uh, interpretation of your imaging, of your biochemical parameters, and that will predict you based on your patient analytics, that can predict you that what kind of disease you are having or you may have. And that is where I think the future of artificial intelligence comes handy with pharmaceutical students. And therefore, you have to be with the growing trend of market. So no doubt that the pharmaceutical industry, especially in India, is performing very best. But again, we have to think that what is the future? So we have to take care of the future innovations which are coming up in the sector. And if we can take care of that, I think we will be ahead with time in order to make our discoveries at a level where we can compete with global intelligence. So with these words, I think I must end my technical talk. And this is my research team, my 8 research scholars. And thanks for the grant given by various government agencies for conducting various projects. We are working on artificial intelligence. We are working on industry-based quality by design practices. And we are working on some formulation products developments for herbal industries also. So this is what we are doing. We are very fascinatingly, if I say that we are developing a formulation which can be converted into Coca-Cola or Mirinda or Pepsi. So that is our fascinating aspect as far as one formulation we are developing. We are developing mini tab because most of us, हम सब लोग सोचते हैं कि कैप्सूल नहीं ले सकते, टेबलेट्स भी नहीं ले सकते हैं, बच्चों के लिए भी ये प्रॉब्लम आती है. तो we are developing mini tab personalized medications. We are also working on herbal plant cultivation. This is one of the news item featured based on our study. We have zoned Punjab into 5 areas and looked out for the possibility of medicinal plant cultivation in comparison to our traditional paddy and all this cultivation. And we are also working on QCheck, as I discussed, very novel aspects. So with these words, I thank you all. I think we began with 48 participants and we ended with 77. So that reflects that the trend is growing. And I must say and congratulate the organizers as well as participants. There are one saying that it does not depend that what quantity of audience is there. It depends on quality of audience and quality of inputs they are taking out of this kind of program. So I must appreciate everybody who has listened something, who has got something, or at least got an idea that yes, artificial intelligence can be adopted in so many ways. So thank you so much for this. I think that this talk will help you to make you aware or at least make you understand the prospects of artificial intelligence, which is a very unique, not so relative, but yes, the upcoming topic in terms of scientific discoveries as far as computational aspects are concerned. Thank you so much. I think I am on time. I have not taken much time of the audience. Thank you so much once again, and feel free if you have any question, you can drop you in chat box or you can ask directly. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Participants, you can ask any question, either write in chat box or you can raise your hand. It was a very nice session, sir, on artificial intelligence. I think this is the only one session on artificial intelligence in this short-term training program.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir. Please ask.
Hello. Okay, myself, Dr. Vijay Misra from Lovely Professional University. Ashish, sir, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
How are you, sir?
I am fine, sir. I am fine. Thank you, sir. Being your junior from Dr. H.S. Gore University, I am very thankful to you to present such kind of presentation. Sir, I have just one query. May I proceed?
Yeah, sure, sir. Sure.
Okay, sir. as you have divided the Punjab in 5 zones, can
Right.
we extend this zonal division to whole of our country? Because there are
Yes,
so
we,
many states.
Dr. Vijay sir, actually we had taken up both these studies as a model study. Initially, with our idea, NMPB and Ayush department was not so much fascinated. They told that this is not possible. So we took these challenges and we asked them that you give us 3 years and 1 year time, and we will prove that it is possible. And now,
Yes.
by the God's grace and by the efforts of my research scholars, we have already sent this, and they are adopting it. And on the basis of our suggestion, rupees 512 crore policy for North India has been in the launching phase by Government of India. Now we are
Yes.
extending this as we have taken for Punjab. Now we are extending it to Haryana and Himachal also. So by this way,
Okay.
you can divide any zone based on soil quality, based on their agroclimatic conditions, based on their rainfall, humidity, and all this, and then we can map up that what kind of plants can be cultivated in these kind of agroclimatic conditions, and then we can easily tell. And then we have also conducted economics also, like we have identified certain farmers who are already doing it in Punjab. So then we developed the good agriculture and collection practices also. We converted it into Punjabi also, so that training programs can be conducted. And then we are giving a booklet in form of booklet. We are giving it to Government of Punjab, and it is very well adopted by all government agencies. Even NMPB, the regional center, RCFC North, and even the district forest officer has very well supported us in such kind of. And you will be very surprised that all farmers who are cultivating medicinal plants in Punjab has been assessed by us for this particular study, and all these incorporations, suggestions, and modifications has been given to Government of India, and they are publishing a particular book. Ministry of Ayush is publishing a book on our findings. So yes, we can extrapolate it to any particular aspect.
Right. Thank you, sir. Thank
Thank
you
you so
for
much.
giving
Good to
such
see
a
you.
nice information. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. There is one more question from Satyabrata Jaina. How we can effectively identify exact herb, particularly alkaloidal drugs, by using artificial intelligence?
See, it does not depend on whether it contains alkaloid drug or whether it contains, any other constituent. It basically depends on what morphological feature your drug is having, and that too unique morphological features. Like you will find certain apps in US. They have developed a app that you click a picture of flower and you will identify which flower it is. So that means they created a database of flowers. They took pictures and nothing doing. They have to train their software in such a way that they uploaded 10,000 pictures. So by any angle, if you take pictures, it will be compared with the color, contrast, morphology of those in database, and that will give you a result that whether it is this plant or this fruit or this particular thing or not. So this is what is the aspect of artificial intelligence. You need not to put in whether it is alkaloid drug or whether it, once identified, it can give you monograph, because it's based on fitted values only. So this is basically based on identification, and that too on the basis of unique features which you identify in a particular herb. That is what is there.
Thank you, sir. The next question is from Dr. Satyajit. Can we differentiate between crude drug obtained from diseased plant and healthy plant through artificial intelligence?
Yes, we can, but it depends on whether a particular change in these kind of herbal drugs are there because of the disease or not. Like, for example, if your leaf part is there as a drug, if you use leaf as a source of drug, And if leaf is infected by a particular fungus, then it can be easily identified that the healthy leaf is of green color and this particular diseased leaf is green and then some black spot is there. So by this way you can differentiate between the disease, but you need to characterize that what unique feature it is changing because of the disease condition. Then only you can do it.
Yes, sir. Thanks a lot. No more question is here. Thank you for giving us information on artificial intelligence regarding work on plants. And now I invite Ms. Navjeet ma'am to conclude the session and vote of thanks to sir. Then we will start the valedictory function. Navjeet ma'am.
It was really an informative session, sir. We are extremely thankful to you, sir, for clearing our concepts and enhancing our understanding pertaining to the artificial intelligence. From this session, we have known about artificial intelligence versus human intelligence, role of artificial intelligence in healthcare, collective techniques for identification of herbal drugs, computational techniques in herbals, applications of artificial intelligence in herbal drugs, and future prospects of artificial intelligence. All we know about artificial intelligence is we need to regulate artificial intelligence before it becomes a danger to humanity. Once again, thank you so much, sir, for this stimulating session. This knowledge will definitely encourage us in our future aspects. Thank you.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Dr. Shailesh, Dr. Navjeet, Dr. Richa Gupta. Navjeet ma'am, hopefully next time when we will see you, you will be doctor. Dr. Monica and all COP Billa team. Thank you so much.
Blessings.
Shailesh sir.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, sir. Sir, should I start from valedictory function?
Yes, ma'am. Please conclude the session.
Okay. So I, Dr. Richa Gupta, I am highly honored from our director, sir, Dr. Shailesh Sharma, sir, and organizing secretary, Dr. Monica Gupta, ma'am, for giving me the opportunity to coordinate this AICT sponsored online short-term training program phase 3 on the theme computer-aided drug design, a customized and innovative solution to the greatest challenges in chemistry. Today we have finally come to the end of this program. So it is my moral duty to conclude this short-term training program. Sir, this program was started on 10th May 2021 and it was a 6-day training program and a total of 18 sessions were conducted from multi-talented resource person from India and abroad. And we are gratified with about or more than 400 participant registration from each and every state of India. The session inaugural session chief guests were Professor Dr. R.K. Goyal sir, working as Professor, Department of Pharmaceutical Sciences of Drug Research, Punjabi University, Patiala, and Dean, Faculty of Pharmaceutical Sciences, IKG PTU, Kapurthala. Sir wished us for a successful conduct of this STTP. Now I want to brief about our speakers' detail and their discussion topics, just in brief. So our first session speaker was Dr. Vishal P. Jambre from Pune, Maharashtra. He guided us on the topic quantitative structure activity relationship. And the second session was taken by Dr. Aruna Singh from Department of Telemedicine, PGI MER, Chandigarh. And she guided us on the clinical aspects regarding pregnancy and COVID-19. And the third session was resource person was Dr. Hardik Bhatt from Nirma University, and sir title was Importance and Applications of Drug Design Approaches in Development of Novel Therapeutic Agents. On the second day, the session was started with the with Dr. Munish Garg sir on the title. Sir is working in Maharshi Dhyanand University, Rohtak, and sir has guided us about National Education Policy 2020, current relevance and future of higher education in India. And this fifth session was taken by Dr. Amit Agarwal from Department of Telemedicine, PGI MER Chandigarh. And sir has guided us about COVID-19 vaccination myths and truths. And afternoon session was taken by Dr. Manisha Agarwal from Bhillai. And ma'am has told us about interdisciplinary approaches of computer-aided drug designing technology. On the third day, the session was started with Dr. Rajneesh Kumar from Varanasi, and Dr. Sir was not able to attend the session, so we have changed the speaker, and the session was taken by Dr. Manoj Kumar Mahapatra sir from Odisha, and sir guided us on virtual screening methods as a drug discovery tools. And then the next session was taken by Dr. Pawan Gupta sir from Ganpat University, Vidyanagar, and sir guided us on virtual screening methods for drug design and discovery. And this third day last session was taken by Dr. Shreyansh Jain from Varanasi, IIT BHU Varanasi on computational resources and natural product dereplication. On the fourth day, 13th May, the first session was taken by Professor Sudeep Bhardwaj from Sri Ganganagar, Rajasthan, and he guided us about the concept of personalized medicine. And then next session was taken by Dr. Reena Gupta from Dr. Reena Gupta ma'am, and ma'am guided us various quality control methods for testing of herbals and the role of computer, but how we can attach computer to these quality control methods. And the fourth day last session was taken by Dr. Sant Kumar Verma sir on computer aided from ISF Moga on computer aided drug design, a promising tool to cross hurdles in the drug discovery process. On the fifth day, the session was started by Dr. Vinu Bala madam from Nebraska, Omaha, USA on early assessment of PK pharmacokinetic properties of potential drug leads with ADME predictors. And the next session was taken by Dr. Vishali M. Patil from Ghaziabad, Delhi on computer-aided drug design in pharmaceutical sciences for beginners. And the fifth day last session was taken by Dr. Sandeep Bansal sir from Greater Noida, and sir guided us on computational chemistry and its utility in lead generation. And sir also showed a live demo of some software for CAD, computer-aided drug design. And today, the last day, the first session was taken by Dr. Pradeep Kumar sir from KLE University, Hubli. And sir guided us on the topic computer-aided drug design and its application in development of anti-tuberculosis agents. And the next session was taken by Dr. Abhay Kumar sir, who is the Vice Chancellor, Pratap University, Jaipur, and sir guided us on various concepts of National Education Policy 2020. And this session by our Honorable Valedictory Chief Guest, Professor Dr. Ashish Baldi sir, who guided us on artificial intelligence for quality evaluation of herbal drugs. So a very thank to all the speakers and thank you all participants to be with us all the time. And I want to announce here that some participants were very active during all the session. Here I just want to take one name, Mr. Saptarishi Sen sir from West Bengal, who was all time very active in questioning and in all time session. He was very active, and I really appreciate sir. And there are some more names: Dr. Prabhakar, Dr. Girish, Satyajit sir, Shelly Das madam, Hemant Chikhale sir, Satyabrata Jaina, Krishnadhar, Dr. S. Himlata, Prabhakar Pandey sir, Deji Arora ma'am, who are really very much actively participating in the program. And sorry for that if I missed some name, because maybe some more name are there, but I missed it. And you all are very much involved, as it is said also that courage is not only to speak on the dais, courage is also to sit and listen. So all the participants, we all are very thankful to you. And finally, I am very much thankful to our valedictory chief guest, Professor Dr. Ashish Baldi sir, Shilesh Sharma sir, Monica Gupta ma'am, our technical coordinator, Dr. Rahul Sharma sir, Navjeet ma'am, and all the team of COP Bela for giving me this opportunity. Thank you all. Yes, now I want to invite Dr. Shilesh Sharma sir for a vote of thanks to all.
A very good afternoon to all of you. Respected chief guest of the valedictory function and keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Ashish Baldi sir, organizing secretary of this third phase STTP, Professor Dr. Monica Gupta madam, coordinator of STTP phase 3, Dr. Richa Gupta ma'am, technical coordinator of this program, Dr. Rahul Kumar Sharma sir, and Madam Dr. Navjeet Kaur, and faculty members of COP Bela, participants of this STTP. First of all, I give thanks to the God. You all are here and learn something in this pandemic period. I'm thankful to All India Council for Technical Education to providing this support to conduct these STTPs in this time on online versions. I'm thankful to the management of COP Bela who encourage us and motivate us to do these type of the programs for the fraternity of pharmacy profession. I'm thankful to all the speakers and experts who accept our invitation in this hard time and join us timely and give their valuable information to all the participants. I'm thankful to Dr. Vishal P. Jambre, Dr. Aruna Singh, Dr. Hardik Bhatt sir, Dr. Munish Garg, Dr. Amit Agrawal from PGI, Dr. Manisha Agrawal from Rumta College, Dr. Manoj Kumar Mahapatre, Dr. Pawan Kumar Gupta, Dr. Shyams Jain, Professor Sudeep Bharadwaj sir, Dr. Reena Gupta from GLA University, Dr. Sant Kumar Verma from ISFCT, Dr. Veenu Bala from Netherlands, Dr. Vaishali Ampatil, Dr. Sandeep Bansal sir, Dr. Pradeep Kumar, Professor, Vice Chancellor, Dr. Abhay Kumar sir, and our keynote speaker, Dr. Ashish Baldi sir. I'm thankful to all the participants who listen and learn very well. They give their feedbacks and opinions time to time for us. Sir, the next phase of the STTP we start shortly from the 25th of May up to 29th of the May. The speakers are finalized and the brochure is released on Monday and circulate to all the participants and all the colleges on the Monday. And last but not least, I'm thankful to the team COP Bela, especially the technical coordinator of this program, Dr. Rahul Sharma ji, who is ill, but he done their work very well. Madam Navjeet Kaur, Madam Richa Gupta, and Dr. Monica Gupta really do work hard for the successful of this STTP. Thank you. Thank you very much. And last but not least, I'm thankful to the press and media also, who gives us very supportive nature and support to publish our news, to circulate in the public also. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Here, I invite if any participant to give live feedback. We are watching the comments, but if any participant wants to say something, they are welcome.
Professor Saurabh Maru sir is here. Yes, anyone, any participant who want to join us?
Hello, can you hear me?
हाँ जी
Can you hear
sir.
me? Yes, Shailesh.
Dr. Saurabh Maru sir here from NNIS Mumbai, Shirpur. Sir, please give your feedback.
Yes. Shailesh, I couldn't hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you, Shailesh. Hello.
Hello.
Saurabh sir, you are audible. You can speak.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, sir. Well,
Am I audible?
yes, sir, you are audible. Mr. Saurabh Kose is also there.
Good evening, sir. Good evening to all the participants. Baldi sir, namaskar. It's a very pleasant moment since morning, sir. I am here in this Zoom meet, and the first session today it was very, I would say, in the current time of pandemic, it was an eye opener. And since Baldi sir is my first pass of my job, and since I have learned from him since last 5 to 7 years. So this whole SCTP was very nicely organized, and I was watching Professor Richa Gupta ma'am continuously sending mails and WhatsApp messages in the WhatsApp group. Every session was nicely designed, and moderator Sunny madam were there, Monica ma'am was there, and since in the time of this 21st century digital era, we have these lectures recorded on YouTube. So if some participant might due to some kind of job, if they haven't watched yet, they can watch in the evening time and it is recorded. So this is one of the best session in the valedictory, as Baldi sir told about the herbal drugs. As we are watching in COVID-19 time, the repurposing of the allopathic medicines, we don't want any evidence based and things, but for the herbal medicines, we want every time we want evidences. So ultimately, Professor Shailesh Sharma sir, thank you so much for providing all of us such platforms on the regular intervals to have the lifelong learning. Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Richa ma'am, any announcement for the participants now regarding paper?
Yes, one second.
Shailesh sir,
Saurabh, sir, Maru sir is
Shailesh sir,
there.
if you can allow me for.
Please.
Yeah. So thank you so much for meeting this FDP because it is like a reunion having Baldi sir here. ऐसा लग रहा है कि बचपन की यादें ताजा हो गई. So it's like long back when we were in like 1998. We were together and along with Shailesh, who is my current junior, we organized a lot of programs together and enjoyed and learned many things. So I'm really happy to see that how greatly Dr. Shailesh is organizing and utilize his skills in organizing such a interesting FDPs and doing a lot of initiatives in his college. That's really interesting, and that's really really a proudful thing for me. Baldi sir, as always, he's extraordinary, and he knows that how the science people and to the society, and that is an excellent example which Baldi sir has presented here. How people who is in a small village can get benefit from artificial intelligence, which like people might never have thought of, that how AI can reach to the people, and how they can be used in the people who are in like forest area, and how it can help in their daily routine and like their entrepreneurship. So that is really a very important and interesting initiative. And like if we start learning about Baldi sir's various other initiative, it is again extraordinary in all that. So it's really very interesting. And about all the speakers and the topics which has been selected for this FDP, this was really very important, yeah, and useful. So thank you so much, Dr. Shailesh, Baldi sir, and very important, interestingly, the organizing committee member, madam, who is conducting this, Monica madam, Richa madam, and they have conducted it very well. Nice coordination among the people. So it is really a very one of the most well organized FDPs I ever attended. So thank you, and many congratulations to the COP Bela for organizing this event. Thank you. Thanks all.
Thank you, sir. Sir, there is one more raised hand by Moana ma'am. Moana, you can speak now.
Yeah, ma'am. First, I like to congratulate to team COP Bella for a successful organization. And when we have started that per day, it was a 3 session, and totally it was 18 session. When I was joined, I was thinking that I could not attend all the sessions because I'm having a small baby, and even I have to take the online classes to my college also. But somehow I attended all the classes, all the sessions which I've taken, and I'm happy. And if any next, if you are going to start like this, just send a link and we'll be participating. And thank you. It was a good sessions and we attended all. Thank you so much. It was a good information. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Satyabrata Jana sir, you want to speak?
Yes, am I audible to?
Yes,
Sir, you are audible.
Yeah, good afternoon, Dr. Salva, and good afternoon, Monica madam and Richa madam. Good afternoon to everyone present over here. Yeah, myself, Associate Professor from Bhaskar College Pharmacy. First of all, thank you very much to COP Bella providing such a beautiful, excellent, wonderful, I cannot say many words which we can say it, but at present we cannot say these many words because time is limited. Anyway, so really excellent and very nice sessions. Every sessions, each and every sessions, I learned a lot. Not only me, we are discussing about our colleagues, entire colleagues, those who have missed also. Because I have forwarded your link almost all more than 30 members. I think more than 20 members they have joined. Another 10 members, those who have, unfortunately, they have not joined because of some other activity. They also, fortunately, they missed, and afterwards they are listening from us. These are such a beautiful program. Then now onwards, they are thinking that whenever the next program from the COP Bella will be there, they are definitely going to join. So thank you very much, madams. My request, one more request to all of you, please continue this group, that WhatsApp group. And thank you very much, because every time we are giving the message and we are learning many things. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity. Thank you, sir.
So thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot. And only one announcement. Now the session HTTP is end. And the feedback link will be provided just after this valedictory function, and exam link will be provided tomorrow morning. And at 10 a.m. and
It is
all,
open up to 5 p.m.
okay, link will be open up to 5 p.m. So thank you, everyone. Any
And the
other?
paper contains 50 questions, 2 marks for each question, and the paper is of 100%. Only the participants who got more than 60% of marks get the completion certificate of this STTP. So please be patiently do your paper and complete your paper within the time with 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and it is more than enough time. So best of luck for your end term program, end term paper.
Okay, so thank you, everyone. Thank you again. Thank you, Shailesh sir, Monica ma'am. Thank you, Rahul sir. Thank you, Navjeet ma'am, and Ashish Baldi sir. Thanks a lot. Thank you, the participants. Thank you.
Stay home, stay safe, stay fit, and stay active.
Okay, thank you, everyone.